Hey everybody, it's Steph Mischuk with webmentor.org and killersites.com and a whole bunch of other sites. Anyway, I'm going to answer 11 PHP questions that were put to me recently. I don't necessarily have all the answers, but I'm just going to run through this rather very quickly. So here we go. Number one, how to protect server from any type of hackers. Well, the best thing you can do is use a firewall. So it doesn't have really anything to do with PHP. Most of the server hacks will be through either SQL injections or is going to be SSH brute force attacks. So a good firewall will help a lot in that regard. How to test MySQL injection if it is protected? Well, you test it. You use prepared statements and other things that you can do in PHP to prevent SQL injections, and then you just look up on Google SQL injection attacks and find some examples and see if it works. Basically, what you want to do is you just want to scrub any SQL that's coming into your site that can be processed by your PHP, and prepared statements will do that, and that's a big way of handling that. How to create accounting web in PHP. I don't know what that means. How do you create an accounting app in PHP, perhaps? I wouldn't do it if that's the question. I would just use Google spreadsheets or something. But anyway, number 4, how can you create a Treeview system using PHP? Well, Treeview is a client-side visual component, a visual element. So what you would do is you would, assume you would store perhaps whatever information in a database. You'd grab that from PHP and return it to some sort of client-side object that does the tree view for you. So you might want to look into jQuery or something like that. You might have to pass that information from your database through JSON, or you might just do, I don't know, I guess that would be probably the best way of doing it. So there's many different ways, but in terms of Treeview systems, that's a client-side implementation. It's a client-side thing, meaning in the browser. That means you should look at jQuery or some other framework that would provide that for you. And then in their libraries, their Treeview libraries, they'll talk about how to implement the Treeview properly. Number 5, what is a framework and why is important? A framework. He's asking, I'm sure, about PHP frameworks. So you're looking at Zend, you're looking at Laravel, Cake PHP, and there's many others. A PHP framework is just basically rather a collection of PHP code that's designed to make it easy for you to create apps. The PHP code will follow certain conventions like something called MVC, and they'll have something called ORM in it, which is a way of basically making it easy for your PHP code to access databases, relational databases. I can go on for hours about frameworks. Basically, a framework is just a collection of code that makes it easy for you to write PHP apps. But you have to learn the framework, and there's some bit of a learning curve there. Number 6, can I use PHP to create large project without frameworks or C web system? I'm not sure what a C web system is, but yeah, you could create large projects without a framework. You could roll out your own PHP framework, and I know people who do that. I've done my own frameworks in Java, but unless you can't find a framework that handles the type of work you need to do, I wouldn't do it. I would just use some third-party framework. That's just the way I roll about these things. Reuse, 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 right? That's the top 3 rules of web development. Number 7, in OOP, what is the difference between method properties and what are their importance? Well, it seems that you need to do my basic OOP in PHP course, but essentially in OOP PHP, a method is just a function and the properties are variables. That's all. It's just the same, different word for the same thing. So in OOP PHP, again, instead of calling them functions, you call them methods. Instead of calling them variables, you call them properties. Their importance is the same importance as as functions and variables. Extremely important. 8. Why do web programmers use private, public, or protected in a class? These are key, what's the word? I forget the word all of a sudden. Essentially, they are a way to control how people can access the code that you write. So when you declare an object being private, it's not accessible by other objects, or you can do that with a method. For instance, if you declare a method public, then anybody can access that method. And protected is kind of a happy medium. Again, this is a video on 11 PHP questions quickly answered, so I'm not going to get into detail, but essentially these are access modifiers. There you go. Private, public, and protected. They modify how you can access objects, access modifiers. And so it's just a way to control how your code is accessed by other coders. So this is really something about this is something that really comes into play rather when you have many coders on a project, and you may have a lead coder who will set up a structure and set up certain objects within the application will be protected and private, and to prevent some other coders from accidentally breaking things, which I've seen firsthand actually. Yeah, number 9. Why do web programmers use this variable instead of choosing any name as a variable? Well, this is a special type of variable in object-oriented programming. It's a self-referential variable. It's basically, it's like a special keyword in PHP, in object-oriented PHP, that allows you to refer back to its to allow an object to refer back to itself. Again, you have to do my course on object-oriented PHP. Go to Killer PHP, object-oriented program. It's an older one there, but it's free, so you can take it there. Or you go to Web Mentor, where you see all this, webmentor.org, yes, shameless plug, where you can see this type of stuff all implemented in detail. Number 10, why do web programmers use statement instead of choosing any variable name? That's just a convention. It's when you're creating a string, an SQL string, and that's the statement. And that's the context. What I know of it. You have to, maybe there's others, but that's STMT is just short for statement. What does these two variables, this and statement, mean? I think I just described that. So there you go. 11 PHP questions answered. That's it for now. If you want to learn more, go to webmentor.org. And I'm Steph. I'm most known for killersites.com and Killer PHP. But anyway, that's all.